Welcome to the Focus Area tutorial on collaboration. If you're watching this tutorial, it's because you have chosen to use collaboration as your focus area for your blended learning project. With collaboration, the idea is that you will want to use blended learning for collaboration and group work in your classroom. Let's begin by taking a look at the objectives of this tutorial. First off, teachers will be able to identify best practice strategies for collaboration and group work in a blended learning classroom. Secondly, you will be able to identify technology tools for collaboration and group work in a blended learning classroom. Let's begin by reviewing what this focus area involves. What is the context? Well, the goal of this focus area is that you, the teacher, want to provide your students with the opportunity to collaborate with one another in class, with students from other classes within the school, and/or with peers from throughout the Jesuit school network. Teachers who are interested in this focus area will want to incorporate effective group work strategies into their instructional pedagogy. This can include using technology-enhanced projects, assignments, and activities. In this tutorial, we'll learn some best practice strategies for how to do this, along with looking at a few tools that can help you accomplish this goal. So, what are some of the ways this can look like in your classroom? It can look like project-based learning, team-based learning, or problem-based learning. These are usually projects or activities and collaborative projects that take a little bit longer to accomplish in the classroom, but can be very successful if implemented correctly. It can look like students editing, revising, or creating documents and presentations. It can look like students creating, editing, and revising a multimedia file, such as a video project or an audio project for a specific topic in your course. Or it can look as simple as students sharing files and storing files together in Dropboxes in order to work on activities and items together. Let's begin by taking a look at some overall best practice strategies for any type of collaboration or group work activities that you might decide to implement in your classroom. Something to remember is to keep work groups or collaborative groups small, no more than 3 to 5 students in a group, in order for this to be manageable for student work as well as for teacher grading. You'll want to be sure you assign student roles and responsibilities so that each student knows what he or she is responsible for and is going to be held accountable for. Be sure to set deadlines and project tasks, especially if you are embarking on project-based or problem-based learning. This will help students stay on track, as well as ensure that the project gets done on time. Be sure to have students share out on their progress, with you one-on-one or in small groups, and with each other, so that they can provide feedback and assistance when needed. You also, as the teacher, should provide feedback often so that students know if they are on track and if they're accomplishing the goals they set out to accomplish. Be sure you set clear criteria for grading and assessment. This can be by providing students with a clear grading rubric before you assign the project so that all students know what is expected of them. Finally, provide and create a common online space where you can post project updates and timelines, project and group work activities, worksheets and assignments, and a place for students to be able to turn in assignments and activities in a common space so that it's easily accessible by all. Now let's take a moment to look at best practice strategies specifically for creating and sharing files and presentations. You'll want to be sure you assign equal responsibility to all students so that no student feels that he or she has taken on the burden of all the work. Provide a common storage space that all students can have access to and use within their group. Teach students how to label files and create folders for easy access. This is important so that students are not mislabeling items or being confused by what's in the folder. So if they have a clear, specific structure for how to name and label files and folders, this will make it easy for everyone to find what they need when they need it. Create a template or sample file or presentation for students to follow. If students are creating a sample presentation, it might help to have an outline for what each slide should include. And finally, provide clear and concise step-by-step instructions for the file or presentation that students are creating. This will help for students who may need reminders as they go along creating the file or presentation. If they have it written down somewhere, they can easily come back to it and refer to it as they create the file or presentation. Now let's take a look at some best practice strategies for when students create multimedia projects. Again, similar to creating files and presentations, assign equal responsibility to all students. Again, this helps with student accountability as well as with student motivation for working together and for creating the project together. Provide a common storage space, a place where students can go and share files, resources, media, and information that all can access within their group. Teach students how to use the tech tools and software. Do not assume that all students are familiar with the tools, the software, and the programs that you are asking them to use. So be sure to take some time in class to model and teach how to use the tools and the software. Or if you know that there are specific students that are very tech savvy and can teach others, then monopolize and use those students to help teach the ones who are less tech savvy. Require students to plan or outline or storyboard their project before getting started. This will help students save time as they go along creating the project. It can also help you track their progress and ensure that they are on the right track. Provide class time to test tech tools and software. So even if you're asking students to create a video project that they may have to spend outside class time using to work on, be sure that they at least get started playing around with and using some of the tools in class so that you can help them troubleshoot issues that may arise. And finally, if you can, be sure to share examples of project expectations. It is often helpful to show students what a final project could or should look like, or shouldn't look like, in order so they have a guideline for what their end project should be. And finally, yet again, provide a common sharing space. So not only should there be a space for them to store information, but a place for them to share their final projects for others to see and provide feedback or comment on. These are just a few of the best practice strategies for creating multimedia projects. Now, finally, let's take a look at some of the technology tools you can use in your classroom to implement any one of these collaborative projects. For creating documents and presentations, you might want to consider using Google Drive, Doc, or Google PowerPoint. Prezi now has a function where students can collaborate on a presentation together. Wikis, there are a variety of online wikis that students can use to share information and create presentations. For file sharing and storing, you might want to consider using Dropbox, the cloud, or again, Google Docs and Google Drive. These are just a few examples of file sharing and storing. Others exist. For multimedia creation, you might want to consider using YouTube, iMovie or iTunes, GarageBand for podcasts, if you have accessibility to Mac products, Windows Movie Maker for some PC users, or EduCanvas. Again, these are just some examples of the technology tools that you might be able to use for collaboration and group work in your classroom. This is not an exhaustive list, and if you have tools that you already like to use, then please use the ones that you have knowledge on and are comfortable using. If you'd like to take a look at a few sample lessons for how teachers have used blended learning strategies and technology for collaborative projects in their classroom, take a look at the following videos. Video 1, Collaborative Presentations in a Chemistry Class, where students are placed into groups and asked to create a presentation to teach a specific concept and topic in their chemistry classroom. Video 2, Collaborative Research Projects. In this language arts classroom, students are connected with the community and with mentors within the community to work on a research project in a collaborative way. And finally, video 3 is a collaborative podcast. Students in a geography class are asked to create and talk about a specific region of the country as a collaboration and post a podcast for other students in other classrooms across the country to listen to. Take a look at one or all of these videos for examples on how teachers have used blended learning strategies and technology for collaboration and group work in the classroom. Finally, let's take a moment to review and reflect. So, what are ways you can use blended learning strategies for collaboration? That's right. You can have students create, share, and store multimedia files, presentations, regular files, and videos and audio files. You can have students work on project or problem-based learning experiences. And you can have students simply share files and store information in a Dropbox or in an online environment. So, how do you think you will use blended learning strategies for collaboration in your course? Take a moment to think of a specific goal or objective that you have for collaboration or group work in your classroom using blended learning strategies. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you at the sprint.